It's my favorite evening. I'm pacing around the floor. Got southern woods and waters gonna take me out the door. Got coffee on a perkin. I'm about to have some fun. They'll have my mind a-chasing some critter on the run. Bring it on, southern woods and waters. Make me hear that sound of a fish that's breaking water or the bawling of some hounds. Make me smell that river mud, feel clean air on my face. Bring it on, southern woods and waters, show me that special place.
Probably about 11-inch crappie.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to this week's edition of Southern Woods and Waters. Really good to be back in the studio with y'all tonight. As y'all know, we weren't able to be down here last week. It was just a little bit too treacherous for everybody to get in and get down here and do a live show, so it's great to be back. We got a really good informational show for y'all tonight. You're going to want to get those tablets out, get ready to take some notes, and have your phone ready, because we're going to have the call-in lines are going to be open here in just a little bit, and we're going to leave those open for a couple of segments. So, as you guys know, we've been talking about it for the last little while, and coming up this weekend is this year's Frostbite tournament over at a Fate Sanders Marina on Percy Priest Lake. And tonight, I'm joined by Dayton Blair, and just beside him there is Tristan McCormick, and Mr. P.B. White, the Frostbite man himself, is here on the end, and we're going to be talking about the Frostbite tournament and getting you guys information on that. But also, we're going to be going over some wintertime bass fishing tactics and
with
some of the
baits,
things,
some lures and stuff.
Yeah, some different things that we all use specifically this time of year, coming out of the cold weather. Kind of, you know, spring's just right around the corner, guys.
Warm weather,
and it's that time of year's coming. But first of all, PB, Saturday's the day.
Yep, it is. We've been waiting all year, and it's been tough weather, but we've had ice out, and it's done now. So you know, it's time to go fishing, and we look forward to have everybody come out and join us, and should be a great day of fishing.
Yep. Now it's going to be a little bit different as far as the way you're going to do it this year. The anglers can go check in, and then they can head on out, and then they just no dropping lines till 7 o'clock.
Yes, that's exactly right. Well, he said it. We want to be COVID safe as possible. So all the anglers have to do is just come in the morning of the tournament. The ones that's already early registered, they'll come to a certain part of the dining room and check in, and the ones that has to pay the morning of, they'll go a different part of the dining room, so we won't have everybody grouped up.
Okay.
And we require everybody to, if you have a mask, bring it to the registration part. If not, we will provide masks.
Okay, perfect. Perfect. We're really looking forward to that, guys, and that, you know, that's one we fished it the last couple of years. Yep. It's always been a great time. I always say it's one of my favorite ones of the year. I love the layout that you use. I love the way that it
kicks off the year pretty much.
It does.
Gets everybody fired up.
Well, a lot of work goes into it, you know.
It's a whole year for you.
Yes, you know, and it gets down to these last couple of weeks, and everything just, it slowly comes together, and now all my worries are just about over. Now we just got to get the anglers out there, and then we'll get the ball.
That's right.
That's great. Well, Dayton, this got some rain coming in. It's going to be starting tomorrow, and you know. But what do you think it's going to do? It's going to warm the water up just a little bit.
Man, I'll tell you right now, the water's already warming up in the back of the creeks. I was flipping rocks earlier today, and the crawdads are already out. I mean, I'm literally already catching crappie in 1.5 foot, 2 foot of water. Yeah. But they've sucked the lake back down. They got the floodgates open because they're prepping for all this rain we're getting, which everybody knows. If you don't know, when these warm rains start and you get 60, 64 degree rains and the lake's been 45 and 40 degrees, them fish will head right up in those creek heads. They'll get up there in that muddy water and just be in chocolate milk. You'll be like, I can't believe there's fish in here. But crappie, bass, catfish, and all will start that migration. Those crappie I've been catching, they're already, you know, they're full of eggs. They're already orangish looking, the ones I cleaned yesterday. So, I mean, It's just a matter of time. I just wish we wouldn't get this big flood, you know?
Well, you know, you got to have ice for a few days here in Tennessee, and then
That's
some
right.
nice
Suntan weather.
days, and then some flooding.
Yeah,
You
that's
know,
right.
we might be under ice again next week. Who knows?
That's
you know?
right.
Or 90 degrees.
That's right.
Yeah, I think sometimes our fish don't know what to do. You know, in the
Well,
spring.
I'm sure they stung right now on what that happened the last 3 weeks. So, you know.
Yeah. Because, of course, we'll be at Fake Sanders Saturday, and
Yeah.
up till just a few days ago, it looked like a frozen pond.
Well, that's what I was fixing to say over there at Viverage Creek, where I've been catching them crappie and stuff. Yesterday, the whole cove was just shad and stuff working, and you could see 1 or 2 hybrid in there busting them.
Yeah.
But today, you got that north wind that come back in. It's a little cooler. There wasn't as much action, and plus the wind will blow that bait on the other side of the lake, and you won't think it's there. It's just moved on you.
Yeah, of course they've moved
And
with
they
it
go
just,
right
just
with
a
it,
little bit,
just a
you
little
know.
bit.
But you did hit on the fact earlier, and you and I talked about it on the way down here tonight. You have been catching fish though in 3 feet and less of water.
That's right, already.
And just in the last few days.
Yes.
So you know, guys, I kind of thought they would be a little bit deeper out myself, and then we were up at Cordell Hole yesterday. I found out they were more shallow than I thought they were too.
That's right.
Even up there at Cordell Hole, but you know, catching them that shallow already, guys, it's
And a lot
it's
of those,
turning on.
a lot of those are speckled crappie. They're not a black or a white crappie. They're like what you catch out of Florida specks. So all of them are big. You know what I mean? You hardly catch one you got that won't measure.
Yeah.
I mean, and they're eating.
Yeah.
They're eating it. I mean,
They are.
they're thumping it.
They're turning on good, and the bass I've heard just in the last few, little bit. I mean, Tristan, what are you seeing, just right now the last few days, and as far as the bass go?
Well, I mean, we got a bunch of big tournaments going on right now. You got the Red Crest, the guys down at Knoxville Bassmasters, and they're catching them. Even them, the pros, they're catching them a lot shallower than they expected. They all started offshore. Caught a few fish, whatnot, then they worked their way up, and they're like, oh, well, they're a lot shallower than everyone's thinking. So, the warming trend, the water's going to warm up. These fish they're wanting to go. They're just waiting on it. And it won't be long till it's lights out.
Yeah, and you think this rain event too? I mean, it'll bring it up.
Oh,
what do you
absolutely.
think, a few degrees?
I mean, we
anyway?
was talking about in the parking lot, that warm rain, I mean, it could warm the water up 5, 6, 7 degrees.
Oh, just a
Quick,
second.
yeah, just,
And in the
just a
fish
day.
world, I mean, that's
just
5 degrees.
huge.
Yeah.
They'll move up into inches.
Yeah.
They'll be ready.
Well, I know I've been receiving a lot of calls this week about what they think the fish conditions are and all that. So I think as this show goes on, it should help people be at ease on
Yeah.
what they should be doing come Saturday. I received a call on Saturday from a guy up in Indiana, and he wanted to come down and fish the tournament. And I told him to come on. He said, well, we got ice out up here. I didn't want to tell him we had ice out down here too. So,
You'll feel right at home.
Yeah. Fit right in.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's exactly what we want to do tonight, and as we get into the show a little deeper, we've actually got some baits here on the table. We've got some rod setups, and we're going to get really into exactly some of these baits that you guys prefer in the wintertime, and how you fish them, because a lot of times you might both be throwing the same thing, but
Don't work
Different
sometimes.
returns.
yeah,
Yeah.
That's right.
this time of year, I mean, I would say just from my experience in general, regardless of what you're doing right now, you need to be a little bit slower with it.
Absolutely. That's correct.
Regardless of what you throw,
Right.
just slow it down a little bit. Try to keep it in the zone a little bit longer than what you would in the summertime, where it
Right.
can be a lot more aggressive, or later on in the spring. But yeah, I'm looking forward to getting into some of these baits now. This time of year as well, Saturday you're going into a situation where it's going to be raining Friday. You got rain coming Saturday. So what we're going to get into next when we get back is I want to talk about kind of how you think about setting up.
You got rising
and
water.
ready to go.
And rising
and being
water.
ready to go. But right now, guys, we're going to go on over and do this week's wild game forecast. It's being sponsored by our friends at Wilson Bank and Trust. You guys can go see them at one of 28 Middle Tennessee locations. They've been serving our community for over 30 years. Be sure to stop in and tell them thank you for everything that they do for us here at the show. All right, now we just kind of opened into the forecast, and so that worked out perfect. But again, got a little rain coming. We think the water temperature is going to come up some. Chocolate milk possible,
Sure.
by Saturday evening, or especially if you guys are going to be fishing a tournament on Sunday, it's probably going to be pretty messy by then. Do you see any difference, guys, in just the next few days? Do you think with that happening, do you think those more fish will come in shallow now?
Well, 24 hours will make a lot of difference.
Yeah.
You know, and it depends how much rain we get and how warm the rain is. And if the rain is pretty warm, I think fishing should be really good, probably mid-morning to midday, and then it'll just get better as the day go on. But
Yeah.
for the anglers, it might not get better. You know?
Might be a little bit soggy, but we got some rain suits, and I think we're good to go on that, as long as we don't.
So here's
get too
something
flooded.
else the warm rain does. You've got crawdads that's been up all winter now. They've been froze up, they've been put up. Over today, I turned over 3 or 4 rocks, there's already 10 crawdads already out.
Yeah, yeah.
Now that's another reason fish go shallow.
Yeah.
That warm rain gets them rocks running in them holes, and them crawdads start coming out, man. When them crawdads start coming out, them fish start going up.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they know when it's happening.
And you know,
I mean,
shad automatically go, and bluegill, I mean, everything's going.
I
Yeah.
mean, my biggest thing is like, you know, I like to, you can't get stuck on one place because these fish move. I mean, you can't get stuck down one stretch of bank. You got to move around. Don't, you know, be versatile because these fish are moving every minute. I mean, so don't get stuck on one place. You know, always move around this time of year because, you know, right around the corner you can run a new fish, you know, and then fill the boat.
Yeah.
And it's a good time to go back to fish.
Absolutely.
Like if you catch some at 9 o'clock or 10 o'clock and you want to go back, this is the time of year to go back and get another run of them.
And they might be 100 yards down the bank or,
Yeah.
you know, further back in or however. So
Yeah.
they're somewhere close.
Yeah. Things are
Because
looking
once you
good for
catch
the
that
forecast.
first fish, it should give you an indication of what you need to be doing.
Absolutely.
You know.
Yeah.
And
I
if you
agree.
catch them on the
Try
first
to put a
cast,
pattern together. I
and
mean,
if
that's
you
the
catch them
key.
on the first cast, put the boat back on the trailer and go home. And go home.
And go
You ain't
home.
gonna get another bite.
Especially if it's raining. You don't want to mess with that.
Forget it.
Well, guys, we want to remind you to follow us on Facebook. Keep up with us there. We've constantly got updates for you and doing different contests and things there on Facebook that you can't catch here on the show. So follow us there. Also, check us out at swwtv.com. You can find links to all of our great sponsors and all of our past shows there. We'll be back here in just a minute with this week's Pictures of the Week and some more Southern Woods and Waters.